S-I-C-K, it's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K, on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K, on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
Play it on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick podcast, your #1 sports destination.
Giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K, on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K, on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K, it's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K,
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 S-I-C-K.
All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K, on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K, it's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K, on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K, on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
Play it on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick podcast, your #1 sports destination.
Giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K, on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K, on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K, it's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K,
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 S-I-C-K.
S-I-C-K.
Turn up your volume. because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. With Tony Marinaro.
55 seconds left in the penalty, a minute and 27 seconds left in regulation time. Boston 4, Montreal 3. Lafleur coming out rather gingerly on the right side. He gives it into Lemay, back to Lafleur. Oh!
The sickest Montreal Canadiens podcast.
You're in the ball!
Sports entertainment like no other.
Rejoint, on lui fait perdre la rondelle, une passe devant. Et c'est Canadien qui complète le dégagement et ce sera la victoire des Canadiens. Stanley pour les Canadiens, leur 23e de l'histoire.
You found the dogs! John, you found the dogs! He found the dogs! And all together, they worked a young team to the top. And now, a 24th Stanley Cup banner will hang from the rafters of the famous Forum in Montreal. The Canadiens win the Stanley Cup!
Brought to you by Energy Transportation Group. Driven to be different. La Vida TV. Embrace your true nature. And Playground, your premier gaming destination. It's gonna be sick.
Marinaro, the Sick Podcast on this Friday, April 25th. We have ourselves a series. The Canadiens are back in it, and they win. They beat the Washington Capitals by a score of 6-3 in a game that had absolutely everything. We apologize if we had some technical difficulties to get us started, but I think we should be okay right now. Are we? We are live at Winnie's, Sir Winston Churchill Pub on Crescent Street in downtown Montreal, where downtown Montreal is absolutely in a frenzy because the Montreal Canadiens gave their fans not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, but 6 goals in tonight's hockey game, and they beat the Washington Capitals by a score of 6-3. A Canadiens team that scored only 2 goals in game number 1, 1 goal in game number 2, and tonight they got to Logan Thompson, and they also got to Charlie Lindgren. Jean-Charles Lajoie is calling me on my phone right now. I work a podcast. All right, okay, so let's not answer. Wow, we've seen all 4 goaltenders in this series. In case you missed it, Samuel Montembeault left the game tonight with what appeared to be a left hamstring injury. Looked like he was doing some kind of movement, and he felt it. He felt a tweak and said, I got to come off. You got to feel for the guy. Jakub Dobeš comes in. And you know what? Down the stretch in the final couple of weeks of the season, Jakub Dobeš played 2 games for the Montreal Canadiens, and he played 2 very good games where he stood on his head. And that will help him in this series tonight, and maybe if he has to play the rest of the way. As for Logan Thompson, Dylan Strome, his teammate, went into him, back-checking, trying to get back. The Canadiens were on a 2-on-1, and the pass goes from Caulfield to Slavkovsky, who redirects it, he scores, and Dylan Strome is going to the goal, and he accidentally cross-checks his goalie, who goes back, and Dylan Thompson also seems to have hurt his left leg. Without further ado, let's bring in Pierre McGuire. Pierre, you there?
The McGuire Report. Presented by Vago Italian.
Yes, the McGuire Report brought to you by Restaurant Vago. Open 23 years, longevity. Not many restaurants open that long. Private dining rooms for any occasion, birthday engagements, corporate meetings, plenty of free parking after 6, open Monday to Saturday evenings, and lunch Tuesday to Friday. Fresh quality ingredients, old world Italian classics, new Italian. Come see Tommaso, the most popular man in Westmount, at the front of the door. His partner, Angelo, in the kitchen helping out. Pierre McGuire, this game had everything. We have ourselves a series, Pierre.
The biggest thing you have is you got a fan base that believes in the Montreal Canadiens. You have players that believe in the message of Marty St. Louis, and more than anything else, I think you got guys that are prepared to push back. You know, putting Arbor Jackeye in the lineup made a big difference. It started in the warm-up. You could see it. Washington wasn't comfortable. Tom Wilson wasn't comfortable. Josh Anderson became more comfortable. Subtle little things happened tonight for the Montreal Canadiens that were really positive for their team, Tony.
So, Pierre, on that note, yes, let's start with that. A couple of lineup changes for the Montreal Canadiens. Arbor Jackeye in, Jaden Struble out. Oliver Kapanen in, Patrick Laine out. The Montreal Canadiens say that Patrick Laine out with an upper body injury. It is what it is. All right, okay. Let's bring up the Montreal Canadiens lineup that started this game versus the Washington Capitals. Suzuki with Slavkovsky and Caulfield. Dvorak with Gallagher on his right and Anderson on his left. The line that started the game was Evans with Demidov on his right and Newhook on his left. Pierre, that's the line that played together in the third period in game number 2 in Washington. Kapanen, fourth line with Armia on his right and Heineman on his left. On defense, Matheson, Carrier, Gouli, Hudson, Jacques Savard, and Samuel Montembeault started this game in goal. Pierre talked to me about that. It was after game 1 that you said this team needs a nuclear deterrent, and you were ready to put in Arbor Jackai. They did not. Now, tonight you saw him in there, and you know what? You saw his teammates all be a little bit more confident. You saw them be a little bit bigger. You saw them be a little bit stronger. You saw them dish out a lot of hits and go hit for hit with the Washington Capitals, and sometimes even go more hits than the Washington Capitals. But at the same time, you also saw some Capital players still trying to run some Canadiens players. So in the end, maybe the media and fan base was right on one side, and maybe Marty St. Louis was right on the other. But talk to me about Arbor Jackai's impact, Pierre.
I think you're more right when your team wins. And so it was right to have Arbor Jackai in the lineup tonight. It was great to have the fans in Montreal. I do think he made a difference in the warm-up because it showed his teammates there was no more messing around. There was no more Mr. Nice Guy. They weren't going to take it anymore. They were tired of getting sand kicked in their face. All you need is one guy to stand up to a bully. And everybody else, as you said correctly, Tony, gets bigger, stronger, and faster. And that's what happened for the Montreal Canadiens tonight. This is the best game they've played in this series from start to finish. We've just finished game 3, game 4, obviously, on Sunday night. So they got to build off of this. You know, you don't win a series by winning one game, but they got to build off of this. Just hold serve on Sunday night. And I've told you many times, Tony, you're never in trouble in a playoff series till you lose on home ice. The Canadiens have not lost on home ice yet.
You're right about that, Pierre. And by the way, they're one of the best teams on home ice after the Four Nations tourney. And they've done really well. And obviously it continued tonight because once again, the Canadiens scored 6 tonight versus the Washington Capitals. And we'll get to all those goals. But Pierre, Josh Anderson was a monster in game 1. He was a monster in game 2. And he was an even bigger monster tonight. But you can tell he felt happy to have Arbor Jackai in the lineup because he was no longer alone on an island. So much so that when that I don't know if we should even call it a fight, but that battle happened between Josh Anderson and Tom Wilson. It happened standing up, you know, near the Ottawa bench, like actually next to the bench, but not on the ice, like actually on the bench type of thing. I don't remember when was the last time that happened in the modern day National Hockey League, Pierre. Reminded me of the 70s.
Yeah, it was a little bit like the Boston Bruins and the Philadelphia Flyers back in the day. But one of the things that was really important is to have the artillery of Arbor Jackai and also to let Washington know early on they may be big and strong and powerful, which they are, but they're not going to get away with it tonight. They're not going to get away with it. And, you know, it's a great late Herb Brooks used to say, not tonight. Not on this night, and it didn't happen in Montreal. Montreal held serve. They defended home turf, and now they just got to show up on Sunday and play the same way.
Pierre, every now and then I'm right. It doesn't happen often, but every now and then I am. I've been talking about this Montreal Canadiens power play, and you know better than anyone, Pierre, that there's a lot of things that can make a power play tick, obviously. One of those things is moving your feet, not being static, moving around, making it difficult for the opposition to try and contain you type of thing. And one of the things I called for was I said, listen, personally, I'm at a point where I would take Patrick Laine out of the lineup, and then my power play would be Caulfield in Laine's office, which used to be Caulfield's office before Laine arrived, and I'm putting Ivan Demidov in Caulfield's spot. And I was happy to see Marty St. Louis do just that, Pierre. And this power play tonight didn't score all the time. This power play tonight was dangerous, though, Pierre, and it gave it many better looks, Pierre. Your thoughts?
Yeah, many better looks, 100%. And Cole can obviously shoot the puck. I thought the biggest play, forget the power play, the penalty kill, the physicality. I thought the biggest play of the game was Lane Hudson and Cole Caulfield with less than 9 seconds to go in the second period. that puck going in made a huge difference, not just for the Canadiens, but for the crowd, and it provided the players with belief. But you're spot on about Cole being in his old office, which is now his new office. For whatever reason, I don't know why, but Liney's probably hurt. We just don't know how severely. But he just couldn't perform in that power play position the way he had when he first came on the ice for the Montreal Canadiens.
2 power play goals for the Montreal Canadiens tonight. Nick Suzuki gets one. Alex Nua gets the other. The Montreal Canadiens go 2 for 5 on the power play. That's a ratio of 40%, and you'll take that any night of the week and twice on Fridays. Canadiens win by a score of 6-3. Julian, who sent over $100 last week, is in a good mood. He sends over $50 this week. He must have won the lottery. Ça va bien, Montreal, he says. Thank you, Tony and Pierre, for being here tonight and keeping my hype. Remember, keep drinking La Bittt at Tibi. Hashtag Go Habs Go. Julian, because you sent over $50, this is for you. All right, okay. I also love seeing Habs car flags this time of year, Pierre. Here we have them, and it makes me really pumped up for the playoffs. We're starting to see more and more around the city. You roll your window down, you put this in the window, boom. You roll the window back up, and the car flag is hanging out of your car. If you're wondering where to get these Montreal Canadiens car flags, head on over to hkyjersey.com, where they're selling officially licensed Montreal Canadiens flags. HK Jersey is the cheapest prices online and throughout the city. Pierre, I want to let you know that Anthony Marcotte, the voice of the Laval Rocket on BPM Sports Radio, will join us in a couple of minutes. Anthony was actually at the game on Press Box Row, and he's making his way to Winnie's. So we look forward to seeing him. Winnie's right downtown on Crescent Street. Terrace season is on. Montreal Canadiens in the playoffs. What could be better? The full kitchen finally restored at Winnie's. Come try the new appetizer called Frickles Plus. Other staples like the classic New York strip and fries, or the Winnie's roast beef. Winnie's, serving all of your faves and more since 1969. Pierre, Samuel Montembeault's injury, how did you see it? And talk to me about how they played in front of Dobish. How do you think Dobish looked? And should it be bad news for Montembeault, are you comfortable with Jakub Dobish?
Well, I don't think there's any other position they can go to right now. Jakub Dobish should be the goaltender. That didn't look right with Samuel Montembeault. I felt really bad for him. Just like I didn't think it looked right, for Thompson when he got pushed out of the net either. It was friendly fire from, one of his teammates. And so, I look at it. The biggest thing with Jakub Dobish, he looks much more refined now, Tony, than he did when he was struggling in the middle part of the season. He looks more anchored. He looks bigger. He's standing up longer. He's challenging the shooters better. I thought his teammates played well in front of him. I don't know what Game 4 will bring for him or for Montreal, but I do know this. This team believes in themselves. They really do, and that's a big part of, I think, the confidence they have playing in front of whomever, whether it's Samuel Montembeault or Jakub Dobish.
Pierre, here at Winnie's, Jessika Lemay is here. She's watching the game with us. She covers the Laval Rocket on Tout-sur le Hockey, and we talked about Jakub Dobish, her and I, while the game was going on, and she talked to me about how much of a fighter, a battler, a competitor Dobish is. And when I saw Dobish coming in, I said, well, you know what? He's thrown into the fire, and she said he's going to fight. He's going to battle. He's a competitor, and, we saw him fight. Unfortunately for him, there's a 2-on-1 with Alexander Ovechkin, the best goal scorer of all time, coming at you that beat him. But you know what? This guy looked in the zone, Pierre. He really looked in the zone, Dobish, tonight when he came in.
No, he did. That's what I'm saying. He looks way more prepared. He looks anchored. He looks refined. He looks really big in goal. He's not giving up the upper part of the net. Nobody's stopping the Ovechkin goal. I mean, that's a one-timer for Ovechkin on his strong side for the one-timer. There's nobody stopping that. There's not a goalie in the world that's stopping that.
It is the Sick Podcast, and thank you very much. It's the Habs post-game tonight on Friday Night Live from Winnie's, brought to you in part by Energy Transportation Group, a leading full-service logistics provider serving all of North America, driven to be different. Thank you to them for their partnership, a top fleet employer in Canada as far as transport companies is concerned. Just ask Forbes 500. If you're looking for the ultimate entertainment destination, Playground's your ticket, nonstop thrills, experience heart-pumping gaming actions, and a world-class poker experience. Playground, the 2025 winner of Fan Choice Best Poker Room at the Global Poker Awards. Indulge your taste buds at our incredible restaurants, then let loose with live music, electrifying DJs, unmatched customer service, just minutes from downtown Montreal, right across the Mercier Bridge. Why settle for ordinary when you can have extraordinary at Playground? Pierre, let's get to the scoring on this night if we can. Juliana Cavallaro and Sammy back in master control. Thank you very much. Pierre, despite a very, very noisy and excited Bell Center, it was Connor McMichael 320 into the game with the assist going to Sandine and Roy. And Pierre, that's a shot that went off of Mike Matheson. So it's a bad break for Samuel Montembeault. There's nothing he can do on the play. But the Canadians gave McMichael too much time and space early on, Pierre.
There's no question they did. But again, Connor McMichael's played really well this entire season. He's played extremely well through the first 3 games of this series. I would have liked to see Michael Matheson been a little tighter on coverage situation there. It's going to happen, but the Canes found a way to rebound from that.
All right, okay. Alex Carey at 19:07 of period number 1. He ties it up, Pierre. They say sometimes, you know what? You just have to get pucks on net and you have to get traffic in front of the goalie. This was not the hardest shot that we've seen in this period, Pierre, in this series, Pierre, but it's a shot that made its way through traffic. As they say, that puck had eyes.
It had eyes for sure, and it also happened in the last minute of the first period. So when you have something like that happen in the last minute of a period, it gives you a lot of enthusiasm to start the next period. And the Canadians did that with the goal from Nick Suzuki.
All right, okay. We talked about Nick Suzuki's goal, second period on the power play. Pierre, you know what? Loose puck in front. He jumps on it. Didn't waste too much time on that power play, right? He goes backhand. He goes upstairs. Once again, he scored a goal in game number 1. It's important when your best players are scoring goals, Pierre. And, you know, it's important when everyone's scoring goals. But I guess Marty St. Louis got to be pretty happy that Nick Suzuki scores again tonight. Cole Caulfield scores again tonight because as go those guys, so go the Montreal Canadiens.
No question about it. The biggest thing about Nick Suzuki is he wants the puck on his stick. He wants to make a difference. And I think in the playoffs, when you can score playoff-style goals, and that goal for the Montreal Canadiens, their second of the game, was clearly a playoff goal by Nick Suzuki.
All right, okay. Jacob Chychrun, Pierre. You know, a lot of fans were wondering why Arbor Jacki wasn't in the lineup down the stretch. Unfortunately, it was a very bad shift for him, let's be honest. Yep. There were some brain cramps there on the play. Having said that, some can say that maybe the Washington Capitals should have been called for too many men on the ice a couple of seconds before. It wasn't called, but there's 2 mistakes here. Arbor Jacki coughs up the puck in the defensive zone. That's number 1. Mm-hmm. And I would say that in coverage, Ivan Demidas probably supposed to, he's on the wrong side, Pierre. And Jacob Chychrun comes in with all the time and space in the world. He tees it up here and he wires one past Samuel Montembeault to tie that game at 2.
But that's always been Jake's game. Jacob Chychrun could shoot the puck. Go watch him play in Arizona, watch him play in Ottawa, watch him play junior, watch him play obviously for the Washington Capitals, where he just signed a massive contract. That's always been his calling card. It's not so much the hockey sense part of the equation for him. Jacob can shoot the puck, and he's a great one-time passer. So, you know, it's a great goal by him. Yes, there were mistakes made by other players from Montreal, but that's Jacob Chychrun's strength, and he took advantage of it.
I'd like to welcome to the Sick Podcast, the Habs Post Game live from Winnie's, the voice of the Laval Rocket on BPM Sports Radio, Anthony Marcotte, who was on Press Box Row at the Bell Center. Anthony, we're taking a look. A round of applause for Anthony Marcotte. All right, BPM Sport. Okay.
Thank you.
Alex Lanctot, la mise en onde dans le forum à BPM Sport.
Hello, Pierre. A pleasure to join you.
Hey, Anthony, good to talk to you.
All right. Anthony,
crazy game.
We're just about to get, actually, this is great that you're here.
Yeah.
We're just about to get the Cole Caulfield's goal to give the Montreal Canadiens a 3-2 lead. Lane Hudson, we saw it all season long. We saw some spurts here and there, some flashes in the first couple of games in the playoffs. We figured as the series went on, he would be more comfortable. We figured on home ice, he'd be even more comfortable. What an elite pass.
Elite pass, and this is elite poise as well. To just join the rush, take the puck away just in front of Ovechkin, no less. And with that crisscross pass through the slot to connect with Caulfield, this was a big-time play from Hudson. One of the many great plays that he made this year, and one in many other chances that he'll get in his career.
Pierre, we saw touches of brilliance tonight. Every now and then, he was getting himself out of tight areas and out of trouble, and he was making it look easy. I was looking over at Agnello, and I was saying, "Oh," he was looking at me saying, "Tony, this guy's amazing." And I said, "No, I know, Agnello, but to be able to do it at this level in the playoffs, Pierre, with all the pressure and the game being at its fastest and at its tightest, and I know you're not surprised, but what a game by Lane Hutson, Pierre."
So this is what people need to understand, and I know Anthony understands it because he involved so much with Laval, and I know you understand it. Every game's a learning process in the playoffs. And for Lane Hutson, game 1 wasn't great. Game 2 was better. Game 3 was a lot better. He'll continue to evolve. He'll continue to get better. His skill level will clearly be pronounced as he continues to go along in his career. But this is what people need to understand. Rome wasn't built in a day. Slavkovsky was a lot better in game 2 than he was in game 1. He was better in game 3 than he was in game 2. That's just the evolving process of playing playoff hockey. Most of these kids haven't played. That's why I'm so excited for Anthony and the Laval team. They're going to play a ton of playoff games. All these kids are going to get better, not just in the American League, at the NHL level too. Lane Hutson's Exhibit A.
All right, let's get back to the score sheet if we can. So Cole Caulfield puts the Montreal Canadiens up by a score of 3-2 with just 9 seconds to go in period number 2. That was such a huge goal to come at that time. Pierre, what is it that coaches say all the time, right? The goals in the first minute of a period and the ones in the last minute of a period can really hurt you or help you, depending on which bench you're on. And there you have it, a big goal by Cole Caulfield. Let's make our way to period number 3. And once again, Ovechkin ties it up at 3. This is a goal where, Strome to Ovechkin. There's no chance for Jakub Dobiš on that one. But Dvorak gives the Montreal Canadiens a 4-3 lead. He does the same thing that Connor McMichael tried to do with Washington, was just get the puck on the net and see if it bounces off of anyone. He was lucky to see his puck deflect off of Brandon Duhaime, who just felt so guilty when he went back to the bench. He's like, "Oh, man, I can't believe that went off of me," just when I thought we were getting the momentum back. The Canadiens take a 4-3 lead. And then about 9 minutes after that, it's Caulfield and Slavkovsky, Anthony, on a 2-on-1. And Dylan Strome ends up going into Logan Thompson, cross-checks him under the chin. Thompson extends all the way back. You can see that his leg extends. He was hurting, making his way off to the edge to the locker room. I said before this series, Anthony, that we would see all 4 goaltenders at one point. I would have never bet we would have saw them in the same game, Anthony.
Yeah, after injuries.
Yeah.
And it was a scary-looking play. And I wonder, Pierre, I don't know if you have the same perspective as me, but I think there's 2 injuries on that play. I think Thompson is concussed, and he has a lower body injury, probably the left knee. It looked really bad, and I don't expect to see him again in this series for sure.
You don't
well,
think
Anthony,
so?
I agree
he was
with you.
completely out of it.
I agree with Anthony and Tony. The thing is, nobody's talked about this. The reason why Thompson hadn't played in a while and why he was sitting out is because he had been concussed. He had been hit in the head. So it wasn't, and this wasn't the first time in this game he'd been hit in the head, by the way. He was hit with a stick and he was hit with a puck. He was groggy this entire game. So I don't know what the spotters were saying from the National Hockey League, but they better make sure that this guy's 100% healthy before they put him back in the net.
Yeah, and I really think that the game completely changed after he got that stick from Sandin, by the way, not Suzuki. That was not a call. I know it was a play that is tough for the referees because it goes so quick, but it was Sandin's stick on Thompson's head. And I think at that point, he was a shell of himself, boxing the puck away, couldn't cover the pucks, and then shit at the fan afterwards with that play with his own teammate Strome colliding with him.
Pierre, let me ask you this. If Logan Thompson is out, who I thought battled really, really hard up until he came out, he made some huge stops for the Washington Capitals. Charlie Lindgren, Pierre, what's the scouting report on him? We know he's a former Montreal Canadian who would think that he has a lot to prove in this series against the former, his former organization that gave up on him. What can Charlie Lindgren bring to the Washington Capitals, Pierre? What's your scouting report on him?
Oh, I've known Charlie a long time. He'll compete like all get out. He's only played, this was his 5th playoff game in his career. He's 0-4 going into tonight. He lost all 4 games last year against the New York Rangers. Charlie's big. He competes. He takes up space. Do I think he's an elite starting goalie in the league? No, I don't. That's why he lost his job to Thompson. But if Charlie's a guy, I think they'll bring up Clay Stevenson, who's a free agent out of Dartmouth College. He's part of the Hershey Bears organization right now. So I would think he'd be the next man up. But I would say that for Charlie, more than anything else, he's going to go in there and compete. But do I think he's an elite starting goalie in the league? The answer is no, I don't.
Pierre, if Samuel Montembeault can't go, I think would logic dictate that Caden Primo backs up Jakub Dobeš, guys?
Yeah, no choice. The only other choice is Connor Hughes, who's injured for at least another 2 weeks. So it's the only option for Montreal right now is calling up Caden Primo. And they won't take any chance with this situation. They will call him up, definitely. As of now, forget about Laval. Laval is another thing. But for now, Montreal is the priority. Even if Primo sits on the bench, he will be there to back Dobeš up.
Pierre,
Don't worry, Anthony. You'll be fine. There's a guy named Jacob Fowler in Laval. You'll be just fine.
Yeah. No worries at all. And credit to him. He decided to sign that ATO to join Laval with no guarantees whatsoever. It was confirmed to me that the kid joined Laval. He expected to play with no guarantees, and now he could be the next man up, and he could play some big games in Laval.
Wow. Pierre, it's incredible the way the way things change in the world of hockey, right? You're Jakub Dobeš. At one point, you come in, you're 5-0. Then all of a sudden, you start playing a lot less. Martin St. Louis gives the vote of confidence and makes Samuel Montembeault his number one, and Dobeš not getting a lot of time. Then he gets 2 games in the final couple of weeks. You're thinking, no, that Montembeault is the guy in the playoffs. Hopefully, Montembeault can come back, but if he doesn't, what a great opportunity that Jakub Dobeš has been presented with. Like, this could probably make his career maybe with the Montreal Canadiens, and maybe if it's not with the Montreal Canadiens, maybe impress another organization. And it's all about opportunity. Just ask Yaroslav Halak in 2010, who did not start that series for the Montreal Canadiens, Pierre.
No, he didn't. No, he did not. That's amazing when you think about it. I was doing those games. It's just amazing. And then all of a sudden, Yaroslav Halak became so popular, they started painting his names on stop signs in Montreal.
Let's go back to the score sheet if we can, and we'll wrap up the scoring. So Slavkovsky obviously makes it 5-3 Montreal. And then on the power play, Alex Newhook, power play goal assisted by Matheson and Gallagher. Pierre, Montreal outshoots Washington 15-7 in period number 1, 11-7 in period number 2, 14-7 in period number 3, 40-21 overall. They go 2 for 5 on the power play for 40%. Pierre, this is a huge win. With the exception of Montembeault's injury, obviously, and no one's happy about that. But across the board, other than that, this is a big, big win because the power play unlocked, the offense unlocked, the better players unlocked. Pierre, what did you think of Demidov tonight?
He was okay. I think he'll just continue to evolve and get better. I didn't think he was a star. I thought he was okay. The biggest thing to me is this whole game turned when the coach decided we're going to match some artillery to their artillery. We're going to put in a guy that can defend our teammates, and we're going to put in the sheriff. We're going to put in an Arbor Jack guy. I'm telling you right now, Tony, Anthony knows he's around the dressing room. You do that for your star players, they appreciate it. They understand there's going to be more room. There's going to be a response. And if anybody messes around, there's going to be a major response. And I was really happy that they put Arbor in. I thought they should have put him in game 2. They didn't, but they put him in game 3, and it definitely made a difference.
Anthony, wasn't it funny that Arbor Jack guy starts tussling with Tom Wilson there at one point, and Josh Anderson gets in front of him and says, "No, I'll take care of this guy."
And what a competitor Anderson is. He knows full well that the guy that he needs to compete with in that playoff series, it's Tom Wilson. And he was in his face all night. He didn't care about it. He doesn't care about the situation. He's not scared of Tom Wilson. And tonight, for me, the all-star of the game is Josh Anderson. Because without him, I don't think we have a win tonight.
A round of applause for Josh Anderson. Josh.
What a battler. What a battler. He went to war for this team. He went to war for this team. And I understand the Jack-Eye perspective. I'm just not sure if we can win a series with a Jack-Eye-Savard pairing on a regular basis, especially on the road. You can work around the edges at home, but on the road, you can be exposed with both of them on the ice.
Pierre, your thoughts on that?
No, I agree with that 100%. But one of the things I know is you need a nuclear deterrent in the lineup because Josh Anderson can't fight every single battle by himself. And that's what we talked about going into game 2. We know Josh Anderson can beat up Tommy Wilson. He already has. He did it this year in Washington. So, you know, I think Josh was great. Josh was the best player for the Canes in game 2 as well, and they lost the game. But I think you need some more artillery to give your other guys some breathing room. And the Washington Capitals knew in warm-up tonight, they knew there was no messing around. They knew in the warm-up. They didn't know in the warm-up in game 1. They didn't know in the warm-up in game 2. But in game 3, they knew there was no messing around.
Josh Anderson fought Trouba in New York. Josh Anderson fought Tom Wilson in Washington versus the Capitals. Josh Anderson played the entire season hurt. He went a couple of months without even practicing, was doing therapy days all the time.
And he looks much better right now. I think, I don't know if he's fully healthy, but he's close from it now. He looks way better than he was just a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So listen, we'll continue to get to some of your questions. And we can get to them if you can bring them up, Sammy and Juliana at Master Control. The Montreal Canadiens win by a score of 6-3. And this is a huge, huge win. The Canadiens are back in the series, and all of a sudden the city of Montreal is pretty excited. Dennis Mandro says, hey, Tony and Pierre, would you try to sign Dvorak after watching the way he's played these last couple of months? Pierre?
Yeah, but I don't think you're going to get him at a bargain basement price. I think he's played well enough that other teams are going to have interest. And I think the Canadiens want to try to create room for Owen Beck to take that spot. It'll be cheaper. It'll be more cap friendly. And I think it just goes along with their building process. So I'd be surprised if they kept Dvorak.
At the same time, you know what, guys, I think that Owen Beck one day is going to be a very good player for the Montreal Canadiens. Can he come in and play the National Hockey League next year? I think he can. But I think another year of Laval would actually really help his development even more. I think they can take their time with Owen Beck. And but I agree with Pierre. I'd be surprised if Dvorak is back, but you have to hand it to him because it's always tough when it's the final year of your contract. A lot of people say, well, that's when you start to wake up and you start to play. But it's always tough. And you know, he doesn't know which organization he's going to be playing with right now. So, yeah, maybe it's an audition for the Canadiens or another team.
And you can't sign everyone, too. I mean, they look good right now. We like everyone after a big win like this. But you need to make some room for the young kids that will battle hard in the playoffs. You don't know. It's maybe the young guy, Florent Jacquet, who can knock on the door of the training camp. You never know. You need to keep that in perspective. Beck will be an option. Kapanen will be an option. And the Flo Jack will be one as well.
Pierre, there's been talk over the past couple of days in Montreal of the possibility that Florian Jacquet was going to play. We're going to be very surprised, obviously. He didn't play a regular season game with the Montreal Canadiens. To take him and put him in at this level at this time probably would have been a little bit too much, but it's interesting that his name came up in the conversation, Pierre.
Well, I love the fact that his offensive game evolved so much. What do you have, 20 goals this year, 20, 21 goals?
24.
24, there you go.
Yep.
So he had a big year, just going off the top of my head. I watched him play a lot of games this year, and Anthony obviously knows. He's physical, he's fast, he understands how to initiate contact. He had a tremendous year. He's going to be a player in the NHL. At what level he can survive it in the NHL, we'll see once he gets there.
All right, we'll bring up a couple of more questions. We're live at Winnie's on Crescent. Pierre McGuire is at home. Anthony Marcotte is to my right. Alex Lanctot of BPM Sports is here. He's in the building. He's at Winnie's. Jessika Lemay of Tusola Hockey is here as well. And we're going to get to Alex and Jessica a little bit later on. We're going to bring them in. Outdoor Dad says, Anderson says game plan was to get two-man forecheck going. Arbor helped bring energy and physicality. He's a big part of the team. Tony, Arbor has to stay in the lineup. Do you ice the same lineup? Well, I guess you have to, right? You don't change a lineup that one. Of course not. Pierre, the two-man forecheck. Did you see a more aggressive forecheck from the Canadiens tonight?
Yeah, I did, because they were positioning shoot-ins a lot better than what they did in Washington. So it's something I had spoken to with our friend Mitch Melnick earlier today. You got to have positional shoot-ins so you can establish a two-man forecheck. I thought they did that really well tonight.
Pierre, did the Washington Capitals show you that they're vulnerable in an area or two?
No, not really. I just didn't think they brought their A game, and I'm never going to take anything away from the Canadiens or the fan base tonight. The Canes played bigger, faster, stronger, and the fans, I think, played a big role in that.
You know, home ice advantage. Martin Leclerc of Radio-Canada talked about it earlier this morning on BPM Sports Radio. There's something about playing at home in front of your fans that the statistics show that the fans can really be that extra guy. Pierre, how difficult is it for an opposing team to come in and play in the loudest building, hockey building, in the National Hockey League.
It's hard to play in Montreal. I don't think people realize how well the players do. I don't know if the fans do. It's a hard place to play. It's everything. It's communication. It's the board system. It's where your dressing room's located. It's everything. It's a hard building to play. It's a beautiful building, but it's a hard building to play in when you're the visitor. You know, it's interesting. The Washington Capitals had a 1-0 lead in that game, and all of a sudden, you never felt like they were in charge of the game. Even though they had a 1-0 lead, you never felt like they were in charge of the game.
Anthony, how loud was it in the building? You were in the building. Alex was in the building. How loud was it?
Well, the crowd is always on top of you. And you're exactly right, Pierre. They took the lead, and I thought the crowd just took a breather and just went right back at it and cheered for the team. So that's crazy. And people are so happy coming out of the building. It was crazy to see. I mean, you're still 15 wins away from a Stanley Cup, but it feels so good to see people happy, especially in such tough times. What happened with the Four Nations, and now the Canadiens making that push for the playoffs, and now competing really hard after 3 games against the Capitals, the class of the field all year in the NHL. And we're in this, and it's far from over.
Juliana and Sammy and Master Control, if you can bring up the final game stats, because there's a number. The number is 46 that I want Pierre McGuire to see, and I want Anthony Marcotte to see it as well. All right, okay, here you have it. 46 hits to 26 for the Montreal Canadiens. 40 to 21 were the shots. 54% in the faceoff circle to 46%. 2 for 5 on the power play for the Montreal Canadiens. 0 for 2 for the Washington Capitals. 46 hits to 26 hits. And the Canadiens had only 10 giveaways compared to Washington's 17 giveaways. The reason why I brought up the 46 hits, gentlemen, is because Marty St. Louis says at the end of the game, we had 46 hits tonight. That's a lot. Pierre, sounds like the coach is happy. Day off tomorrow for the Montreal Canadiens. No practice for them. Your thoughts, Pierre?
Yeah, that's good. Make sure Lane Hudson doesn't show up at the rink tomorrow.
He will. He will definitely will. He definitely will, Pierre.
Okay, good. That's a good idea, Anthony. I agree. But no, it's really good. I can't stress this enough. I think, like Anthony was saying, I think Josh Anderson was fantastic tonight. I think all this started when the players found out Arbor was going in. That's not a knock on Jaden Struble. I've been watching Jaden Struble play for a real long time. He's a real fierce kid. He's a tough player. He's only getting better all the time, but he doesn't have the same fear around the league that Arbor Jackeye has. And the guys in Washington knew. Arbor's unpredictable. He's a loose cannon, and guys don't like playing against players like that. And his own teammates know when he's in the lineup, it makes everybody bigger, stronger, and faster.
Pierre, Arbor Jackeye had 4 hits in tonight's hockey game. By the way, so did Jake Evans. Emil Heineman had 5 hits in tonight's hockey game. Josh Anderson had 6 hits in tonight's hockey game. Brendan Gallagher had 5 hits in tonight's hockey game. My son Anthony sent me a text message earlier on, Pierre. He says, Daddy, he says, I love Brendan Gallagher. He says, that guy's not scared of anything, and he's not scared of nobody. And I said, Anthony, you're right. That's what we call being a warrior. He is a warrior. But Pierre, I'm glad you talked about Jackeye once again, who, by the way, 10 minutes and 5 seconds, it's not a lot, but he finishes the night +1, Pierre. He finishes the night with 4 hits. Those 4 hits are more hits than Jaden Struble after 2 games. And that's my message to Struble, is that if you want to get in the Montreal Canadiens lineup and if you want to stay there and not be taken out, you have to use your size. You have to hit guys. You know, you don't have an X factor. You're not the greatest offensive defenseman. You're not the greatest defensive defenseman. You're not the greatest penalty killer. You're not a power play guy. You're not the greatest first pass. You're not offensive. You need to use your body. We know he's strong by nature. He's a strong, tough kid.
Yep.
But he needs to hit a lot more. Arbor Jackeye got the message. But Pierre, look at this. Once again, Jackeye, when you talked about hits being contagious, Jackeye's got 4. So Evans says, you know what? I'll go and do the same thing. Emil Heineman, I believe, had 1 or 2 hits last game. He's got 5 tonight. Josh Anderson had 6. Gallagher had 5. All the guys followed, Pierre. All the guys followed in regards to Arbor Jackeye. You're right, Pierre. It was contagious.
No, it is. It's infectious. I've coached in enough playoff games to know when you get guys like we had Rick Tocchet. Trust me, Ricky was a better player than Arbor Jackeye. But when Rick was in the lineup, everybody was bigger, faster, stronger, and they followed his lead. It matters. Those guys matter. They have a position. Chris Nyland was the same when he played for Montreal. Those guys matter. I know people at home don't understand that dynamic. I get it. But trust me, players feel better. They feel bigger, faster, and stronger when they know they have somebody that's a nuclear deterrent like Arbor is.
So Pierre and Anthony, I talked about number 11, Brendan Gallagher, a couple of minutes ago. Now I'm going to talk about the number 11 as a statistic. I say 11 besides Brendan Gallagher, and you think Montreal Canadiens. Is there anything that sticks out tonight when I say 11? I put you on the spot here, so I'll tell you.
Yeah, I don't know what
the amount of shots on goal that Cole Caulfield had tonight.
Okay.
Guys, 11 shots on goal for Cole Caulfield tonight. 11. This guy was shooting from everywhere. And Pierre, you get the feeling that once again, with Liney being in his office, and credit to Cole Caulfield, that throughout the entire time that Liney was on the power play in the first wave and in Caulfield's office, Caulfield never complained once. And every time Liney scored a goal, Caulfield looked happier for Liney than Liney looked for himself.
Exactly.
But tonight, he was back in his office, Anthony.
Yeah, absolutely. And I thought he looked good out there. This is the place where he already had a lot of success in that spot. I think he understood the decision to put Liney, a proven 40-goal scorer, in that exact same spot. And at the beginning, it worked. But it slipped a little bit at the end. And you stay with it because you think it could be a difference maker in the playoffs. But tonight, what Montreal showed, I mean, do we really need Patrick Liney in the lineup? I don't think so. Because in the playoffs, everybody knows that it's a completely different kind of atmosphere, different kind of hockey. And I mean, I didn't miss Patrick Liney tonight.
Pierre, we're doing a show, of course, here, as you know, at Winnie's in front of a live audience. Anthony Marcotte, the BPM Sports, is to my right. I'm going to bring in Alex Lanctot of BPM Sports in a couple of minutes, and Jessika Lemay of Tusola Hockey in just a couple of minutes as well. So I'll let you go a little bit earlier tonight because there's only so many mics to go around. And but I want to ask you, Pierre, when Anthony says this team doesn't really need Patrick Liney, are you ready to throw in the towel yet? We know that he's under contract for another season next year, Pierre, at $8.7 million. And I think we'd be willing to say that should his time be up with the Montreal Canadiens, I don't think there's going to be a taker. And that at that point, your only possibility is a buyout, which would cost you $2.37 million next year and the year after that. But Pierre, I think it's too early to say his time is up with the Canadiens. Can they give him another opportunity?
I'm not prepared to say that his time is up, but here's what I am prepared to say. Cole Caulfield was really good tonight, and he was thriving in that position on the power play. And he also had a lot of 5-on-5 confidence, too. That goal at the end of the second period, less than 9 seconds to go, that was a massive difference in the game tonight. And Cole looked so happy, looked so comfortable. That's not a knock on Patrick, by the way. It provided more opportunity for Cole. And in pro sports, when you get an opportunity, kick the door in and never let him shut it on you. Cole did that tonight.
Pierre McGuire, thank you very much. I look forward to talking to you again on the McGuire Report Sunday night after the Canadiens and the Capitals Game 4. Thank you, Pierre.
Thank you, Tony. Thanks, Anthony. Take care.
All right, there you have it. Pierre McGuire. Marinaro, once again, for the Bittt Tibi. They launched their new Ultra Lager. It's a refreshing, thirst-quenching beer, perfect for the playoffs with only 90 calories, 2 grams of carbs, 4% ABV per can. Available in a pack of 6 and 12 in grocery stores all around the province of Quebec. It's ultra light and ultra refreshing. Who's going to win Game 4, the Canadiens or the Capitals? Well, you can go all the way with Betway and get a free bet up to $200 if the first bet loses. Scan the QR code on the screen or click on the link in the details section to create an account. Redeem your welcome offer. Offers only available for new customers. Terms and conditions apply. Offers not available in Ontario. Must be 18 years of age and older. And please play responsibly. All right, okay. So everyone knows I'm usually off on Fridays, right? And I'm usually off on Sundays. Well, I'm working tonight, and I'm going to be working on Sunday. So I think I deserve a little time off. So with that said, I want to bring in Jessika Lemay of Tusola Hockey. We'll bring her in. And she's going to join Anthony Marcotte. Jessika, come on down. Come. All right. Jessica's going to come on in. Make your way here. Anthony, why don't you do this?
Yeah.
You move over to my side.
All right. Let's do this.
Jessica, sit down. You don't
Okay. All right. So this was not part of the plan, but now I'm in link duties of the show. That's what I do. All right, let's do this.
You have a big head, Tony.
Yeah. All right. Well, he wants me to talk about Dobesh, and I think we can talk about Dobesh because we're used to seeing him play in Laval, where he excelled last year after a tough start of the season. You've always been a big advocate for Jacob Dobesh right from the beginning.
Yeah, I can see the fire in his eyes. You know, he's battling. He's a competitor. So yeah, always. And I'm very happy to see him like today coming. I wasn't worried at all.
We remember last year, I think the difference maker was when he changed his equipment. And we were together actually at that time during a practice in Laval. And you made the observation the first. I mean, you said, hey, did he change his equipment? And it was a difference maker the beginning of December of his season. And then he went on a tear. And without him, I know that the Laval Rocket didn't make the playoffs last year, but they came up really close. The only reason why was because of Jacob Dobesh.
Yeah, it was really good. And I was talking about the true equipment and the fact that it's more stiff because I'm a goalie too. So I know the E-Flex stuff and the true stuff. So, yeah.
And then, well, it was a big story for him. And the thing is, Jacob Dobesh is used to play a lot of hockey games. He was the go-to guy for every games at Ohio State. Played there for 2 consecutive years. One of the busiest goaltenders in the NCAA in 2 years' time. And then he joins the Laval Rocket as a rookie. And last year was the most used goaltender in all the AHL. So this is a guy that is used to play. And that's why if Montembeault is on the shelf a little bit, that looks good. Is it smoked meat?
Yeah, it is.
Wow, that's great. The best smoked meat in town. Yeah. And it smells so good.
Enjoy, Tony.
No, I can't eat, but you're shooting me your duties. I'm not supposed to be the anchor here. Yeah. I'm working, he's getting paid. That's a great quote. What I was saying is that what puts Dobesh in a good position is that he's used to play a lot. To be the go-to guy. He was that guy last year in Laval. Can he be the same now in the playoffs if Montembeault can go?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, he played like 51 games last season.
Yeah.
And now he's up to 31, maybe 20 and a half. So 30 and a half, yeah. So yeah, he's more he will play, more he's gonna be there. Yeah.
There's always a transition to be made for goaltender. You can't expect to be like thrown into the fire as a number 1 goalie in the NHL. There's a rhythm to take, and you need to be a number 2 before becoming a number 1. And are we seeing a future candidate for a first goalie in the NHL? You think so?
Yeah.
Can he be a starter in the NHL?
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Do we have a feedback now? We're good? All right. So we'll see. It's not good news to see a goaltender getting out like Montembeault. Well, it happened tonight. So we'll see situation. He got pulled during the game. The Montreal Canadiens announced that he would not be coming back. So I expect Caden Primo to be called up. And we can talk about the Laval Rocket in that same sentence because now Primo will be coming up. So what's going to happen with the Laval Rocket, who will start their playoff next week, probably on Wednesday, depending about where it will start. Will it be in Laval or in Cleveland? It depends about the opponent. The play-in round is still 2 games away. Cleveland won that game last night. They will play again tomorrow afternoon in Toronto. So Cleveland will have the chance to clinch it twice in Toronto this weekend. And if they do, the series will start in Cleveland, and then for the 3 reminder games, because Laval will get the upper end with ice advantage, but it will start in Cleveland. It's not an ideal situation to start on the road, but the rules in the AHL are working like this, so we don't have anything to say. It will start in Cleveland if the Monsters are the opponents. So Jacob Fowler might be the go-to guy to start a series in Laval.
Yeah, it's really great for the goalie in the organization right now. It's like perfect scenario. You're gonna take a lot of experience, and you have you know, you have Primo's contract is it's ending this season, and you have Dobish too. So you're gonna see what they have.
Thank you very much to Jessika Lemay of Tusula Hockey and Anthony Marcotte. Anthony,
Thank
I'll
you.
bring you back, but I'll take your spot. And we're going to bring in Alex Lanctot, my colleague at Master Control on BPM Sports on the forum. So both of you will move out. We'll bring in Anthony. By the way, take a look at Jessica's jersey. Montreal Canadiens, number 26, Martin St. Louis. Huh? What a jersey. All right, so let's bring in Anthony, Alex Lanctot. We do radio together, of course. Anthony Marcotte, here you go. This is for you. Yeah,
sandwich, Tony.
Yeah, there you go. There's some mustard there in the back if you want.
Wow.
Once again, the ownership group of Schwartz's Smoked Meat, of course, they're here and they're hanging out smoked meat sandwiches for everyone,
It's so
which is
good.
much appreciated. Alex, you were there. You were on press box row. You saw the game. Your thoughts?
It was just awesome. It was the biggest game I've ever seen, Tony. It was a perfect game. The Montreal Canadiens set the tone, gave hits, won face-off, were good on a power play. Everyone was looking good tonight.
So, you know, in the end, I think everyone was right? Marty St. Louis said, if I put Arbor Xhekaj in the lineup, it's not going to stop Tom Wilson from hitting guys. But we also say, yeah, but if you put Arbor Xhekaj in the lineup, it'll give everyone more confidence and they'll probably hit more. And we saw exactly that. We saw the Canadiens take hits,
Yeah.
but we saw them dish out 46 of them. Even Marty St. Louis said at the end of the game, that's a big number. I almost feel like the players were so grateful to have Xhekaj in the lineup that said, we're all going to step up for you because we want you to do well tonight. We want you to look good.
And they had to do it with Monty that had an injury, that leave the game. They didn't have the choice to do that. And that's what Henderson did with fighting Wilson in the bench.
Yeah.
That was incredibly good too. And that's again a turning point in that series.
You know, Pierre said that Demidov was okay, and I agree with him, but we're starting to see touches and we're starting to see him hold on to the puck a little bit more like when he did when he arrived versus the Chicago Blackhawks. I find that as the games are going on, Demidov's starting to get more and more confident, and you're starting to see a little flash here and there.
Yeah.
And, you know what? You know what else I thought was huge tonight? I thought Juraj Slavkovsky was a man on a mission tonight. I thought
good.
Slavkovsky was really determined tonight. And, you know, the big guys on the Canadiens, they went out and they were – Josh Anderson was setting the tone, like you said. Arbor Xhekaj, Emil Heineman had 5 hits, but Slavkovsky was really good tonight, too, with 5 shots on goal and a big goal.
He played good. He did what he is good at. That's simple as that for Slav. He won't be a big goal scorer. He won't be an enormous passer. But the simple things of the game, the simple things, the simple hits, just giving checks, stick to stick, being always there, feeling the presence of Slav, this is what he's good at. This is what he has to do.
Okay, it's one game, or do you think this series has turned around?
It's turned around.
Why?
Montreal tonight set the tone in that series. With Logan Thompson that's injured right now, we don't know. We don't have news, but he was looking dead on the ice.
I understand, but Montembeault's injured too.
I know, but Dobish looked in his comfort zone too. He liked it. He said, "I was crying on the ice at the end of the game." I just heard him in the press conference.
Is that what he said? Really?
Yeah, he was laughing. He was stressed, but he cried a little bit too. That's what he said. He had some fun. I think the Montreal Canadiens now, with the crowds going crazy in the streets right now.
Paint a visual for those who were not in the streets of downtown Montreal.
Yeah.
Once again, you were there. You made your way. You saw the festivities before the game. You were in the building. You saw the atmosphere after the game. You saw everyone outside. Can you paint the picture? What does it look like right now in downtown Montreal?
People are screaming "Hole, hole, hole" everywhere in every street. We're like 3 or 4 streets away from the Bell Center, and I was still hearing people around the Bell Center screaming and going loud. It was crazy.
Wow, that's unbelievable. Let's see if we can actually take a question or two. Can we bring up a question here?
How does this work, Tony?
Don't worry about it. There's a question that's going to come up. Sammy and Juliana, Master Control. Alain Partanet. Who's our next second-line centerman? Doc is a winger. Well, I think we'll worry about next year. Next year, I agree that Doc is a winger, and I agree that Jake Evans is not a second-line centerman, nor is Alex Newhook, nor is Christian Dvorak. And by the way, Dvorak's contract is up at the end of the year. We'll worry about that. We don't have to worry about that right now. We have to talk about the hockey game tonight. A Canadiens power play that went 2 for 5. If you have any questions, throw them out there.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
Is this the end for Patrick Laine in the lineup for the playoffs? What do you think? It's a good one, eh?
Well, one thing is for sure, he's not going to be in the lineup next game. And
Oh,
let's just say that he has an upper body. Let's give the benefit of the doubt to everyone here. He has an upper body injury, right? You don't change a winning lineup. So, look, I'm not that naive. Don't worry about it. But
yeah.
okay, but you don't change a winning lineup.
No.
So to answer your question, this is a tough one, but he's not playing next game for sure.
And do you think if the Montreal Canadiens is still going in the playoff, do you think that Struble will get in again? I don't think so. I think Jackai will keep his spot.
If you have any comment on what Alex had to say, send us a question over and we'll get to it right now, right here on the Habs post game on the Sick Podcast, live from Winnie's on Crescent. The atmosphere is absolutely electric. It's absolutely unbelievable. You have to see it. You have to be here to see it. It's really incredible. I'll ask a couple of questions if you want to send in a call at 1-888-585-7425. Juniper 400 says, how do the Habs bring the game they had tonight back to Washington for Game 5? Well, that's going to be difficult because the one thing they had tonight is they had the last line change, which they won't have in Washington. Anthony Marcotte talked about the fact that the duo of Jackai and Savard could probably be exposed in Washington, so he's worried about that. I was there in Washington. It's not an overly intimidating building, folks.
No.
It's not.
It's
and
not
you know
the same
what?
as Montreal.
If the Canadiens win the next game, I don't think the Capitals would have thought that when they go back to Washington, they would be tied at 2. Now, we're not there yet, okay? Let's not put the cart in front of the horse just yet here. But if
will
the
go back.
Canadiens win the next game, Marty St. Louis talked about momentum. He said, we had it, we lost it. They got it back tonight, and if they win the next game, they'll not only have a next game, they'll carry it going into Washington for Game 5.
And Tony, if Montreal wins the next one on Sunday and they're going to Washington, they know that if they win that game, it will be dangerous for Washington in Game 6 in Montreal. And they know it too.
Back to some more questions. We got Evil, who says, Mike Matheson's best game of the season. Am I right? No joke. He was pretty good tonight. I thought he was pretty good. I thought everyone was good. When you win a game like that versus Washington, you have 40 shots on goal. I think it's safe to say that everyone is pretty good. Alex, I want to thank you. I want to give a couple more minutes to Anthony Marcotte.
Thank you, Tony.
Yeah, you're welcome. Alex Lanctot at BPM Sport. Give him a round of applause. He puts up with me every day. All right, okay.
A round of applause for Tony too, please. Come on.
All right. There you have it. You know what's better than one Tony? Two Tonys. Anthony Marcotte. Okay, welcome back. All right. Your final thoughts on what we saw here tonight?
Well, just to say that Los Angeles Kings just tied him up. It was 2-0 Edmonton, and now it's 2-2.
Edmonton's not going nowhere in the playoffs this year. They're not going nowhere. Trust me.
No,
All
I'm
right.
sure of it.
Mind you, I thought Colorado was going somewhere. They're not looking great either. Florida's looking unbelievable.
Crazy.
Florida's looking unbelievable.
Completely unexpected.
You know, there's something, though, about having Game 3 at home when you're down 2-0, you lose the first 2 games. You throw your best game at the opposition, right? So I know a lot of people are saying the Canadiens have momentum and they're going to win Game 4, and maybe they will. But the Canadiens absolutely needed their best effort tonight, and this is very, very encouraging. Marty St. Louis said yesterday, what I see is we can play with the Washington Capitals. His players believe that tonight.
Yeah, and Montreal looked a lot like St. Louis against Winnipeg. Coming back at home, and they really pushed the play. They played the Jets really hard last night, and Montreal just, they look really good. You just told everyone the stats. I mean, the stats on every looking stats, Montreal had the advantage tonight. So that's really impressive.
All right, okay. Obviously, safe to say there's no lineup changes next game. The Canadiens are off tomorrow. There's no practice, and
you're running it back.
You liked what you saw. How about Oliver Kapanen?
Well, he didn't play a lot. I don't think he was.
He didn't hurt them.
No, didn't hurt the team.
Some thought he was going to be out of place. He wasn't out of place.
No, he wasn't out of place. I mean, he was not a difference maker, but at least he stepped a toe in the NHL playoffs. I don't think at the beginning it was an option for the team to play him in the playoffs. I think ideally they would have sent him to Laval, but an opportunity opened up for him, and now he's in the lineup. So why not continue with him on the fourth line? I don't think he will hurt the team for sure.
All right, okay. So, we talked about the fact that the Montreal Canadiens had passengers in Game 1 and Game 2. The Montreal Canadiens had no passengers tonight, Anthony.
No. I think it's a really collective effort that we saw tonight. Obviously, there was a lot of key players in that game to win it. but everyone contributed. Even the two goalies played good. So we'll see about the goaltender situation. I don't think you can expect some news tomorrow. Maybe we'll know more about the Montembeault situation on Sunday morning. But the situation is now completely different, and the two teams might play their backups to continue the series.
Isn't that something? Look, we want to thank Winnie's, Sir Winston Churchill Pub right here on Crescent Street. And I want to let you know that the way we're here tonight, we're going to do the exact same thing again on Sunday. But this time we're going to do it from Ma Brasserie, okay, on Holt Street, 2300 Holt in Rosemont. And guess what? Ma Brasserie is usually closed on Sundays. But because the Canadiens are playing and because they want to host us, we will be there. A very pleasant surprise to have Schwartz's smoked meat sandwiches thrown at us. A big box here full of sandwiches.
Yes.
I feel like taking them all and just jumping in my hot tub tonight when I go home with that box and eating Schwartz's smoked meat sandwiches like I'm going to the electric chair in 10 minutes. That's exactly what I feel like doing. So, but anyway, I guess there's some to go around. Hey, I want to thank all of you for coming out tonight and watching the game with us at Winnie's.
Yes.
Where they now have a full kitchen, and I guess everyone around the world could hear the noise in the building tonight and outside the Bell Center. But I'm sure they don't expect to hear "Go Habs, go" live for Winnie's. Go Habs, go! Go Habs, go! All right, now listen. Hey, I always said Montreal's an intimidating place to play. You don't sound very intimidating. Bring it louder. Go Habs, go! Habs, go! Go Habs, go! Go Habs, go! Go Habs, go! Go Habs, go! Take that! Hey! Hey! And to the person that filed the complaint to the L'Office de la Langue Française that they didn't want Go Habs Go, we say to you, Go Habs Go! Marinaro, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. The Sick Podcast, your Montreal Canadiens podcast. Go Habs Go, Anthony Marcotte.
Thank you, Tony.
Alex Lanctot, Jessika Lemay, the Cavallaro family, all of you and the great people at Winnie's. Thank you very much. Have a good night. We'll talk to you again Sunday night after the Canadiens beat the Capitals again.
Why not?
We beat them before. We beat them again. Have a good night.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast with Tony Marinaro on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts. The Sick Podcast is brought to you by Energy Transportation Group, driven to be different. Tibi, embrace your true nature. And Playground, your premier gaming destination.